The reason why I'm glad I did not get the promotion. Number one, sometimes we have to understand that when certain things happen, no, everything that happens is either by Allah's permissive will or his active will, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the Holy Qur'an, there's those 3 trials that Moses went through with the wise man. The first trial was the sinking of the boat. Second trial was the killing of the child. And the third was being disrespected. But the Al-Qidr was his name. He still built the wall because there's a treasure underneath that the orphan would get at a later time. You're familiar with those? Well, you might not. Are you familiar with that? I think I've shared that before. Are you familiar with that at all, Larry?
Would you repeat that, Brother Luke?
Okay. So in the Holy Quran, there's a story about Moses. He was traveling with the wise man. And at one point in time, they're on a boat. And the wise man sank the boat. Moses didn't understand why he sank the boat. But the wise man had told him, I'm going to do some things you're not going to understand. But don't question me. When I'm ready, I'll explain it to you. So he sunk the boat. Moses got upset about that. They didn't know why he sank the boat, because the one who owned the boat was using the boat to make money for his family. So the wise man, after they got across the river, the wise man sank the boat. Moses caught an attitude behind that. Wise man said, I told you, don't question me what I do. I'll explain it to you when I'm finished. Another part where they came up to a child, and the wise man just killed him outright. Just boom, took him out. Moses didn't understand why he would just kill this innocent child for no reason. And the wise man said, I told you, don't question what I do. I'll explain it to you when it's time. If you ask me one more time or question me one more time, there's the parting of our ways. Then the third time they came across this home, and since they were traveling, they knocked on the door or whatnot. They asked the people for food, and the people basically just disrespected them, like, get away from here. So as they're leaving, there's a wall there. So the wise man repaired the wall. It was about to fall. The wise man repaired it. So Moses was like, look, you just did a service for them. Now they have to give us something. And then the wise man said, well, here's the parting of our ways, but I'm going to explain to you why I did what I did. I sank the boat because a king was coming that was going to confiscate all the boats for his navy. I sank that boat so that king comes by, he will have no use of it. He'll keep going. The individual can pull the boat out, patch it up, and keep on making money. And that teaches the lesson that sometimes a short-term loss is actually a long-term gain. Sometimes we lose things now, but it's better for us in the long run.
Yes, sir.
It's lesson number one. Lesson number two is the wise man knew that the child whose parents were righteous, he knew that that child was going to engage in behavior that was going to probably disrupt the righteousness of the parents. Sometimes unrighteous people will pull righteous people into their funky situations, right?
Right.
Okay, so the wise man killed the child to spare the parents, but the wise man already knew that those righteous parents were going to receive another child who was going to be righteous.
Yes, sir.
That teaches us sometimes things in our life have to be removed.
Yes, sir.
As much as we care for them, as much as we think they're important, they have to be eliminated because they're going to cause us trouble down the road.
Yes, sir.
That's so true. And the third thing was he repaired the wall, but he didn't do it for the individuals in the house that disrespected him. There's children in the house that were orphans, that like were the foster children of these parents. So these parents weren't the real parents. There was an inheritance or a treasure that was buried under the wall that was to be given to the children at another time. So the wise man repaired the wall, and he didn't repair the wall for the people that disrespected him. He repaired the wall for the children so that they would receive their money when they came of age. And that teaches us lesson number 3. Sometimes we have to do things We have to do good and not receive any recognition for it. We have to do
Yes,
good
sir.
for the sake
Yes,
of
sir.
doing good, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, so here's I said all that to say this. I was supposed to get the promotion 2 years ago. I was number one on the list,
Yes, sir.
and they did some conniving, underhanded stuff, and I didn't get the promotion. That's fine. I said, I'll take the test again and get on the next list and get a promotion before I'll get it just in time for me to retire, and I'll leave. And I'll leave as an assistant chief instead of a captain. All that took place. Took the test just recently. But then I started thinking, if I become an assistant chief, I'm not going to leave to go to Florida. I'll probably stay around for another couple years. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I'm supposed to, I have completed the things I have needed, at least in my opinion, that I needed to complete up here. And my wife has been ready to leave for years. She doesn't like New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, even if I was offered the position, I don't think I can take it because we're dead set on leaving when I retire. So the test came out, and I never, I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good test taker. I didn't pass the test. So Allah sank my boat. He sank my boat 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but had he not sank my boat, I wouldn't have been able to start my SRD. I wouldn't have been able to go to Flag in December, and I wouldn't have been able to get rid of a real big thing I had from my childhood that was really holding me down. By Allah's grace, I went through one of the processes, was able to locate it, and removed something big from my life that has been bothering me for about 40 years. If I was an assistant chief, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yes, sir.
So really, Allah sank my boat 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I was able to kill the child in myself. And that's the key. When things don't go the way we want, we get emotional, right?
Right.
So that's problem number one. Everything is not going to go the way we want it to go. Sometimes, and I've heard this, I heard this where, and I can't remember who said this. I think it was Brother Scott shared this with me. He heard this from Brother Jabril, possibly. That sometimes Allah will do that to us just to see how we're going to react. And we've heard the minister teach on this. He used to do this with his own children. Do certain things and promise us certain things and then take back what's been promised, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
To see how we're going to respond. Do we act like adults or do we act like children? So I had to deal with the emotional side for a split second, but then I immediately looked at them like there's a reason why I didn't get this promotion. Because Allah says in the Holy Qur'an, whatever is meant for, whatever Allah wants us to have, no one can keep it from us. And whatever He doesn't want us to have, no one can give it to us. So I said, okay, if I didn't get the promotion, there's a reason why Allah didn't allow that to happen. So I killed the child in myself. I didn't get emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said, okay, there's something else here. So there's a cycle of action here. Allah sinks the boat, you kill the child in yourself. But what that's telling me is if we've been guaranteed luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life, what that tells me is as long as I can get over my emotion, Allah has another blessing for me down the road that's bigger than the one that He took away. Does that make
Yes, sir.
sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we went down the flag. We applied to get into different complexes down there. And when I tell you Allah opened up the floodgates of blessings for us
Mm-hmm.
while we were down there, everything was so easy, it was scary.
Mm.
But like I said, whatever Allah wants you to have, whatever God wants you to have, no one can keep it from you.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I had been promoted to assistant chief, I wouldn't be leaving in November.
Mm.
And my wife already said, she's still going. Okay.
Go
So,
ahead.
okay, she's still going regardless. She goes, well, I'll meet you down there. So when I look at, what I experienced down in Flag, just in Clearwater just recently, and talking with brother Scott and sister Erica and the other things we have brewing in the background, the things that we're all about to do. And it's like I can see now that Allah had something buried under the wall for me for this time period.
Hmm.
So it wasn't meant for me to get those promotions.
Yes, I understand.
Because then I would have went down the Flag looking to find another job as an assistant chief, and perhaps Allah said, "No, I got something totally different waiting for you down there."
Right, right.
So that's a real long-winded answer,
You
but
got your blessing.
I was blessed not to get my promotion.
Yes, sir.
That was a blessing.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, thank you for the question.
You're welcome, sir.
Go ahead, brother Tim.
Yeah, I was while you were talking, I was just thinking about kind of what happened to me last year.
Mm-hmm.
I got very sick, and I was so sick that I went on a short-term leave at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But during this time, I made a lot of advancements by Allah's grace in the tech. So I ended up becoming an auditor, gold seal, and eventually did the PIRF and all that. Became a case supervisor. I took that energy, and did something with it. And I went to Texas and got an extensive, like 36 hours of auditing, book one, and some good came out of what I thought was going to be something very terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I bear witness to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in how we look at it. And I just it's something that you said that because I just finished before I came on listening to the minister's lecture, the origin of disappointment.
Oh wow. Matter of fact, let me write that one down. Origin.
Yes, it's very profound. It runs right in the lines of what you were just talking about. Because sometimes we get disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's how we handle that because it can make us go down tone if
Mm-hmm.
we allow
Mm-hmm.
it. But yeah, that's a very very beautiful lecture Minister did
Mm-hmm.
on disappointment, and he related it to the moon as well, and the scientists that put the moon out there, Shabazz. I mean the scientists that did that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, sir. I just wanted to make that point.
No, that's a beautiful point, brother, because when you look at it, when you look at the words of the minister from the Divine Destruction of America, and he said in that lecture, he said grief was a tool that Allah was going to use during the chastisement,
That's
uh,
right. Yes, sir.
during the judgment, I think he said. So when you look at that, what's taking place right now is Allah says in the Holy Quran that he uses these trials. I don't think he uses trial. I think he might have used the word fire, but I can't remember it offhand. But he uses these situations. He says both the believer and the disbeliever are going to have to go through difficulties. He says, but he uses the difficulties to purify the believer, and he uses the difficulties to destroy the disbeliever. So what the difference between the two is the believer evolves to a point where when the disappointments come, if we are listening to our teacher, if we're studying the minister and the Most High Elijah Muhammad, if we're studying our teachings, when disappointment comes, we don't let that disappointment take us out of our character. In other words, Allah is going to provide a lot of restimulation. So I'm going to say that I'm going to say this ayat from the Holy Quran, but I'm going to say it in the language of Dianetic Tech. The eighth dynamic, Allah, is going to provide or produce a lot of restem. He's going to produce a lot of people that are going to be dramatizing and aberrated. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we know aberration is contagious, correct? Y'all with me?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, so if aberration is contagious, one of the things we were told to do, we have to stay away from certain gatherings of people, right? In other words, we have to stay out of the area of individuals that are dramatizing and already aberrated. They're already tone 2.0 and 1.5 and 1.1. We have to stay away from certain areas because that aberration is contagious. When certain events will take place, individuals that are already out of their valence, those events will cause them to go down tone, correct? And that's why you see people shooting up this, committing suicide. We just had 3 suicides in 1 month up here in the area of Poughkeepsie where 3 people jumped off the bridge. So it's like we're at a time period now, you know, Allah is producing the fire, but the fire, the physical fire that you see, what you see taking place as weather is indicative of what's taking place within the minds of the people. Minister Farrakhan compared weather phenomena to emotions. That was a lecture I heard years ago, and it always stuck in my head. So whatever you see happening in the weather, flooding and fire and earthquakes, they correspond to flooding and fire and earthquakes that are taking place within individuals. When you clear those terms, earthquake, fire, and flood, those 3 terms in Arabic actually correspond to different types of mental aberration. Are you familiar with that? Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Y'all got to work with me because no one's on the screen, so I don't see nobody's faces. So I can't read anything. But when you clear those words in Arabic, flooding, earthquake, fire, when you clear those words in Arabic, they describe exactly the tone scale from 2.0 and below. So below 2.0 is where you find your earthquakes, floods, and your rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes are 2.0 below, basically. Okay.
Wow.
So
Wow.
when the minister tells us to study the tech, what has he done? He's given us an ark to help us to get through the flood. He's given us a garment to wear in the time of fire. And he's given us a way to avoid the earthquake, basically. It is what it is. The tech is how we get through the time that's currently present. And the news shows us what happens when you don't have tech. You got the incident in Minnesota, you got all these incidents all around us right now. It's on the news every day. And really it's showing us the minds of you're looking at mental aberration. You're looking at a program called Mental Aberration 2.5 and below. That's the name of the TV program we're watching right now. We're looking at demo kits of the tone scale, if that makes any sense. Yes, no, yes, no.
Are you referring to the tone scale and self-analysis, Brother Lukman?
Yes, sir. When you watch the news, just say this is a demo kit. I'm looking at the tone scale 2.0 and below in real time.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
That's what we're looking at.
The earthquakes and the flooding here in the United States and worldwide is going on everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a worldwide. I have relatives in the nation. They always tell me, watch the weather. That's what the minister told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the weather.
Yes, sir. But another thing we have to do is we have to understand watch the weather doesn't mean just watch the weather externally. I'll give you 3 examples. I can't recall the exact verses in the Holy Qur'an, but those of us that read the Holy Qur'an, these verses will come back to your mind. If you look at study guide number 2, study guide number 2, no, study guide number 1, mixed feeling and controversy. Okay. There's examples, I think there's 7 or 8 examples where the prophet or messenger goes to the chief of the people, he says certain things, he has a dialogue, and then there's the group of people that follow the messenger, and then there's a group of people that don't follow the messenger, correct? Those of us have done study guide number 1. Y'all with me?
I've never done an aesthetic guide, Brother Luke.
Yeah, brother, you haven't done it, but I'm speaking to the students that have been.
Yes, sir.
Okay, y'all, just let me know y'all are out there.
All right.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
at
sir.
at the end of those scenarios, Shuab, Thamud, Lot, okay, there's different consequences that have taken place. One city is said, and the earthquake, and they became motionless bodies in their abode. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So true.
When you clear that term, motionless bodies in their abode, the picture is an earthquake that comes down in the houses, whatever, and they're trapped in the house, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you clear those terms in Arabic, it brings you to someone who's occluded or stuck on the time track. When you look at the flooding that took place during the time of Noah, I can't remember the exact Arabic word for flooding, but I do remember that word also means to be overwhelmed by emotion. So you have the flooding. Now, when you look at the fire, there's 7 words in the Holy Quran that describe fire. And all 7 of those words, you will find those on the tone scale below 2.0. Fire represents emotion, anger, frustration, antagonism. All those characteristics from 2.0 and down, those words are equivalent to and synonymous with the Arabic counterparts in the Holy Quran. So when we're supposed to be watching the weather, what you see going on the outside is indicative of what's actually going on within. So across the nation or across the world, individuals have floods going on mentally. They have earthquakes taking place mentally. They have forest fires and wildfires mentally. All these things are taking place in the mind of individuals. And the tech is what we use as the earth swallowing up the flood so that the flood doesn't affect us, or building a boat like Noah did. Our processing, our study of the tech is like building of an ark. So you have ARK in the Holy Quran, but you have ARC in the tech, right?
Yes, sir.
So there's parallels in all of that. Brother Tim.
Yes, sir. I was thinking about what you were saying. I actually was in reading in the Science of Survival, and it was talking about like environment, how even if you're like clear, your educational level, your has a bearing on your theta, I would say.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I was thinking about the fact that our children come through a system of white supremacy. And I looked in, I saw using the chat GPT, so I put it in there to see what white supremacy education, where would that fall in the tone scale? And it was like 1.1, 1.5, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
I was thinking about how we have a culture of death among our people, of homicide. So today I looked to find out where would homicide fall on the tone scale. It was like 0.07, something like that. So I was thinking about, I'm studying science and survival,
Mhm.
and it's a way that what I'm learning is there's a way that you process somebody based on where you identify them on the tone scale.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just looking at, because we have that culture of death, we have our children who come through a educational system of white supremacy, which is very low on the tone scale. Obviously, it's like a covert hostility toward our people because they're not open with their agenda. It's covert as to the miseducation that they put on our people. So I'll just, I want to ask you what you thought about that.
Well, brother, that's a great question. And I can share with you, by Allah's grace, what I was able to see as a pattern on the tone scale. Now, you have your Science of Survival handy? Brother Tim?
I could grab it. If somebody else could probably get it. I'm actually working. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a Science of Survival handy? If not, I'll pull mine up. And does anyone have a Holy Quran handy? Anyone? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Worst come to worst, I can do it.
I can look.
Okay. So, Sister Angela, if you could you look up, just pull up verse, Holy Quran, chapter 47, ayat number 30. And I'm gonna pull up the science of survival to answer Brother Tim's question. But I'm gonna show you something that in a matter of minutes, you'll be able to detect anyone on the tone scale within seconds. Okay. So now, in Science of Survival, it's on page 99. And that's where it starts talking about column K, which deals with speech in talks and speech in listens. Okay. The very first paragraph on page 99 says this, quote, probably the most accurate index for the auditor of the pre-clear's position on the tone scale is speech. Here is a generalized manifestation of perceptic communication. In other words, the best way to indicate where a person is on tone scale, you just have to listen to what they're saying, right? Brother Tim?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, interesting thing is, if you divide that tone scale into three parts, if you start from 3.0 and go up, there's a certain pattern of speech. 2.5 is boredom. So that's the gray area. That's like a transition area between the upper part and the lower part, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you get to 2.0 down to about um, that area of antagonism, 2.0 down to about 1.1. I keep my chart right here on my wall.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
That's where you got overt hostility, anger, and covert hostility. That's the second part of this tone scale. And then you go below. So you go 1.0 and below. That's where you got apathy and grief, right? When a person is 3.0 and above, they talk about what they're doing, what they can do. In other
Right.
words, that parallels our teachings where it says the laborers must speak past, present, and future tense being perfect. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the study of grammar, to speak past, present, and future tense being perfect means you're speaking what's called the perfect tense. And in the study of grammar, you have what's called the perfect tense and the imperfect tense. The perfect tense, you talk about cycles of action that have been completed. Now, this is not from Dianetics or Scientology. This is just from straight grammar. In other words, if I speak past perfect tense, I speak about things that I have done or completed. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I read the book. I read the book. That's past perfect tense. I completed that cycle of action. If I said something like, today, I went to the store. I did it today. It's kind of past, but I did it today. So it's still a cycle of action. We can see that as a cycle of action. I completed present. So it's present perfect, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But if I speak about the future, I say what I will do,
Mm-hmm.
what I will accomplish. In the language of the text, that's called making a postulate, right? I'm talking about something that a cycle of action I'm going to complete.
Right.
In our lessons, that's called making your word bond.
Mm.
Okay. So I'm either, who's this? Who's this? Oh, no, I got time. So in other words, completing cycles of action in the past, in the present, or the things I will do in the future. Be, do, have, which is real big in the tech. Be, do, have is also in the Holy Qur'an. Did you know that?
Where?
Oh, sir.
Well, didn't Allah say kun fayakun? Be,
Right.
and it
And
is?
it is. That's right.
One of the attributes of Allah is, and this is in the Holy Quran, it says he's the doer of what he intends, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And
Right.
then another verse in the Holy Quran that says that man will have nothing but what he strives for. be, do, and have. It's in the Holy Qur'an.
I'm off.
Okay, but going back to the tone scale. Imperfect tense is yesterday I was thinking about going to the store. But obviously I didn't, right? I just thought about it. That's the imperfect tense. That's a cycle of action that's not complete. If I don't do something today, then that's present imperfect tense. If I think about doing something and I sit on the couch or play video games all day long, then imperfect tense. If I say I'm going to do something tomorrow and I don't do it, that's future imperfect tense, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
It's like, and I've heard the minister teach on this before. It's like you have some people say, yeah, tomorrow let's do this. And they say, inshallah. No, don't do that. Because some of us use inshallah as an excuse so that we don't have to do it. So we say, well, Allah didn't permit it. No, your lazy behind didn't get up and do it. Don't put that on Allah. Inshallah. Don't do that. Okay. Now, so that's how you look at the tone scale. So 3.0 and above, people are speaking perfect tense. When you hear the minister speak, he speaks about cycles of action that have been completed or cycles of, if the minister says tomorrow he's going to do, you know that's going to get done, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you go 2.0 to 1.1, anything you say that you want to accomplish, 2.0 to 1.1 talks opposite that. You're not going to do. I don't like the fact that you're doing that. I don't want you to do that. That's opposite. Oh, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then when you go 1.0 and below, people talking about what they can't do. I can't do that.
Mm.
So I'm either going to do it, I'm not going to do it, or I can't do it. Do you see the three patterns of speech?
Yes, sir.
3.0 talks about accomplishing, making, owning, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Make, own. That person speaks. He said that individual, Brother Timothy says kun fire kun. Kun fire kun is 3.0 and above.
Mhm.
Anti kun fire kun is 2.0 downward.
That's right.
One who doesn't have the strength to say kun fire kun, that's 1.0 and below. So when you listen to someone speak, are they talking about accomplishing? Are they anti-accomplishment? They're talking about other people, or are they talking about what they can't do? And then you got them on the tone scale.
Right. We know them by the tone of their speech. Yes,
I'm glad
sir.
you said that, brother, because then that goes to Surah 47, ayat number 30. Sister Angela, would you read that real quick?
Yes, sir. Surah 47, verse 30. And if we please, we could show them to you so that you should know them by their marks. And certainly you can recognize them by the tone of their speech. And Allah knows your deeds.
Okay. So what L. Ron Hubbard is saying on page 99 in column K is in the Holy Quran, right?
And
Right.
Now, the word marks in Arabic. So Sister Angela, I want you to reread that verse, but we're gonna look at the verse like an equation.
Okay.
We're gonna take the word mark. I've already cleared the word, and I'm gonna share with you what the word means in Arabic, and then I want you to put the Arabic meaning into the word mark. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
In Arabic, the word mark means suppression.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Now reread that, and instead of saying mark, just say suppression.
Yes, sir. And if we please, we could show them to you so that you should know them by their suppression. And certainly you can recognize them by the tone of their speech. And Allah knows your deed.
Now, in that ayat, let's look at it as a cycle of action. You'll know someone when you can understand the pattern in the tone of speech. What they're saying will indicate their suppressor. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then the last word in there, you know them by their deeds, right?
Yes, sir.
So the cycle of action is there has to be a deed that produced the suppression, and then you'll understand it by the tone of their speech. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So if you
See?
take that and go back in time, listen to someone's tone of speech, it will identify the suppressor and it will allow you to get to the origin or the source of where the suppression began. That's in the Holy Qur'an. Make sense, family?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
So,
To Allah.
and we haven't even gotten to the topic yet. Wait till you see what the topic is. Let's see. Brother Craig, assalamu alaikum, sir. He might be driving. And we have with us Brother Wahid. Assalamu alaikum, sir. We are glad, thankful, and blessed to have you with us.
Well, I'm blessed to be with you.
How are you, Brother Wahid?
I'm fine also.
Praise be to Allah. All right, family, are we ready for this topic? I guess
Yes,
we're
sir, brother.
not. Now, if there's some errors, please forgive me. I did this in in whirlwind time. But I was doing some studying, and all our studying is based on what Allah blesses us to see. Allah teaches man by the pen what man knows not. And I had to put this together real quick, so I hope it flows properly. Let me share my screen. Let me share this. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a new level of marriage. This is interesting because now this has given me a whole another assignment. A new level of marriage. So the goal of today's presentation, let me get this out the way here, is to present a new level of marriage. So now we're going to do a little word clearing. So in Arabic, the word marriage means the root word is zawj. Okay. And one of the derivations of the Arabic term zawj is parallelism. Okay, so we know marriage could be the marrying of man to wife, correct? Husband to wife.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you can, in chemistry, you can marry. The word marry is used when you want to combine two elements, you're combining them together. But in the word parallelism, it means to be, or the word parallel means to be similar, to be analogous, interdependent, in tendency or development. It means readily compared or companion. It means having identical syntactical elements in corresponding positions. It's something that's equal or similar in all essential particulars. It's also a comparison to show resemblance. It's an arrangement or state that permits several operations or tasks to be performed simultaneously rather than consecutively. So when the minister used the word, marry the supreme wisdom with the supreme technology, one of the ways we can look at that is to study the tech, because his instructions were study the tech and bring it back in our language, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in other words, in order for us to study the tech and bring it back in our language, we would first have to be able to study our own teachings. Because how can we study the tech and bring it back in our own language if we're not studying our own teachings, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so in studying the tech, and we're going to prove this using the words of the Most High Elijah Muhammad. So this is not Brother Luqman saying it. This is actually the Most High Elijah Muhammad saying it, and I'm going to provide the quote. So in order to bring it back in our language, we have to study the tech, understand the terminology, get a firm grasp on it, because our lessons say that the job of the 5% is to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the human civilization, right? The human family.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the human family, the planet Earth. That means we have to study it before we can teach it. In other words, we have to study the tech, and we have to know our teachings well enough to be able to make a comparison. We have to be able to see how our teachings is related to the tech. If we understand our teachings, we will see our teachings in the tech. And if we understand the tech, we will see the tech in our teachings. Does everyone follow that principle? Have I confused anyone?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone's flowing with that. We got to
Yes,
make
sir.
sure we're studying what we have first, and that's problem number one. Okay, we're not studying what we have.
Absolutely.
It's to show correspondence between two concepts or ideas. So that's what marriage is talking about. Study what we have, study what's in the tech, and then we build a bridge between the two. And then we take the information we learned in the tech and we bring it back to our mosque, our study groups, in the language of our teachings. Everyone follows.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you one quick example. If you look at study guide number 1, mixed feeling and controversy, right? The pattern in that study guide is there's a messenger that goes to the chiefs of the people, and then there's a correspondence between the two, and then the messenger is there to guide the people. Some people follow the messenger and some people follow the chief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But now, if you look at mixed feelings, the term mixed feelings, would that not be equivalent to uh, dramatization or aberrated? When a person is aberrated, don't they have mixed feelings?
Yes, sir.
Because if you're dramatizing someone else's valence, then there's someone else's mind that's active at the same time your mind is active, right? And then wouldn't controversy be restimulation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can we see the parallelism in study guide number 1 with the terms mixed feeling and controversy?
Yes, sir.
So then if we looked at study guide through from another perspective, when you clear the word chiefs of the people, it's describing characteristics of the reactive mind. The prophet or messenger could represent the analytical mind. And so the dialogue between the chiefs and the prophets could represent what goes on between the reactive mind and analytical mind. Could we say that?
Yes, sir.
So then study guide number 1, we could use study guide number 1 as a way of gaining a greater understanding of the tech, couldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we study the tech, we could get a deeper understanding of study guide number 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Now, okay. So parallelism. Parallelism, by definition, is a theory that mind and matter accompany one another but are not causally related. Have we ever seen this in the tech?
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen this in the Holy Qur'an?
Yes, sir.
We have. But now, if I was to ask us, where have we seen this in the Holy Quran? Could anyone give us an example?
Oh my God.
But we know it has to be there, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Allah says He's given us a book explaining all things. So
Mm-hmm.
everything in the text has to be in the Holy Quran. So so a theory that mind and matter accompany one another but are not causally related in the text. So what this is saying is, so the mind, which in the language of the tech is theta, and matter, which is the physical body, or what's called the mesh body, the definition for parallelism is saying that mind and matter are related, but they don't have the same root or the same source. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the tech, that's called the theta mesh theory. Yes?
Theta mesh theory.
So the theta
Mm-hmm.
mesh theory, and this is from the, what were you going to say, Sister Angela?
No, I just was agreeing. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this comes from what's called the pilot glossary, the theory which states that theta or life is impinged upon the physical universe, and that these two things together, theta and mesh, interacting give us life forms. Makes sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are spiritual beings. We have physical bodies, but the spiritual being comes from Allah and the physical body comes from the earth, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But that satisfies not only the definition for parallelism, but it also satisfies what's called the theta mesh theory. Have you ever heard the minister teach on the fact that we come from Allah and the body comes from the earth? Have you ever heard that taught?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have parallelism or have ARC with the theta mesh theory. We're both saying the same thing, we're just using different language, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, mathematical relationships. We are going to have to put our thinking caps on, but we're not going to go deep into the mathematics. I'm just going to skim the top of the surface of these concepts to show you, by Allah's grace, how this idea came about with regards to what I'm about to show you. Okay. This idea came about through some of the work I've had to do for my classes. And then understanding a mathematical concept is left brain and masculine, but making it applicable and showing the relationship to the teaching, that's the feminine aspect of thinking. That's the feminine brain. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm building up to, this is the main concept that I'm going to show you. This is how it came about. So there's a certain level of mathematics, it's called discrete mathematics. It's also called proof theory. And this is something we have to do when finishing up our degree. We have to learn, and throughout mathematics, you learn how to use proofs in order to understand the concept. But in this level of mathematics, you actually have to learn how to write the proof. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's 12 basic methods that a student uses to write a proof, to prove that a statement is true or false. The basic concept of this is actually found in our Holy Qur'an. So the rules of interpretation say that some ayats are decisive and they're the foundation of the book, and some are allegorical. And those in whose heart is perversity, I believe it says, they take that which is allegorical, they put their own interpretation on that, and they do that in order to misguide people, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. In other words, the rules of interpretation are allegorical means you can make a hypothesis, you can make an assumption, you can say whatever it is that you want to say or teach, but we have to use the decisive part as the foundation to prove what we're saying, correct?
Yes, sir.
Whenever the minister teaches, he refers to his proof is in the Holy Quran. Allah says, or he says, the Most High Elijah Muhammad teaches us. And when we understand the meaning of axioms and theorems, an axiom is a truth that is accepted as true without proof. A theorem is a truth that has been proven. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
The difference between an axiom and a theorem. An axiom is accepted as true without proof. A theorem is a truth that has been proven. So all of our teachings, we could say, are based on axioms and theorems. If the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it, we can accept it as truth without proof, correct?
Mm.
because we know it's true. We ain't got to prove it because we know it's true, right?
Absolutely.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives this information to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So whatever the minister says is axiomatic, meaning if he says it, we don't have to prove it, do we? We don't prove it before we if the minister says it, we don't have to go and try to prove it before we accept it, in other words, right?
Yes, sir.
If he said it, then it's true. That's an axiom. But then he does not want us to just take things on face value. He also wants us to study, correct?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then when we study it for ourselves and can prove it, now the axiom has become a theorem. Okay. On this level of mathematics, you actually learn how to write a mathematical proof. The benefit of this course is when you listen to someone speak, you begin to hear the errors in their logic, and they're either incorrect unintentionally, or they're being divisive intentionally. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
They're playing on words because their purpose is to deceive. Now, me and Brother Scott were talking about this. This is like a little sidebar, but we're talking about this, and we're talking about how, when the minister speaks, when he was interviewed by Brother Jabril, he Allah was formulating the response before the question was completed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, give me 1 second. Okay, so when you look at that in the cycle of action, Sister Angela, you studied the cycle of communication, right?
Yes,
You
I
have
did.
you have source point, you have the communication, which is distance, and then you have receipt point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before the communication starts, there has to be what's called attention and intention.
Right.
So that means attention and intention takes place before the communication, right?
Absolutely.
So could we say then, and this is where we and Brother Scott were discussing this, and it kind of blew our minds. When
Mm.
the minister says that when he listens to a certain people speak, he doesn't listen to what they say, he listens for their intention, right?
Absolutely.
That means the minister is able to pick up an intention before the communication, right?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be almost like time travel?
It can.
If intention comes before communication and you can pick up the intention before the communication, that means you have the mind of the person before they even speak. That's just, let that roll around in your brain for a minute. That's an interesting concept. Okay, so going back to this. So one of the methods that's used in writing a mathematical proof is you take two concepts and you identify the elements in each concept. So if I have, um, so like let's use Holy Qur'an 4730 for just a minute. Let's just look at that one ayat. So the key words there are tone of speech, um, marks, and deeds, correct?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, so that's three elements we can put under Holy Quran. But then the parallelism comes up a play by we take the tech and we see in the tech we have suppression, we have tone of speech, and we have overts.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Overts. So we identified the elements of both sets. So we're looking at an ayat in the Holy Quran as a mathematical set. We're using what's called set theory or the study of sets. Where the Minister Farrakhan said that Allah is a scientist who speaks in the language of formulae.
Mm-hmm.
So then if an ayat is a communication from Allah, then the ayat has to be a formula, right?
Absolutely.
And if the ayat is a formula, then the ayat can be studied mathematically, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We take the elements of the ayat, marks, tone of speech, and deeds, and then we compare that to the three terms that will parallel that in the text. So marks, which is the Arabic word is Saum, S-A-U-M, becomes the suppression of Dianetics. So that means everywhere in Dianetics where you see the word suppression, you're also talking about a mark, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
The word tone in the Arabic is lahni. So tone of speech in the Holy Qur'an parallels tone of speech in column K, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
And the deeds in ayat 4730 would parallel the overts, the withholds, and the justifications and the miswithholds of the text. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Is everyone flowing with that concept? We're comparing the two. I only hear one person, but
Yes, sir.
I don't want any confusion, because if anyone who gets confused, you're not gonna you get that, you're gonna have that blank area and you won't be able to pick up everything else.
Could you say it? Could you say it
So,
again, Bob?
so the third part is that this relationship is based on the rules of function. So the rules of function means if you take an equation, for every input, you produce a different output. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone need an example or a demo kit in order to understand that concept?
I think you should.
Okay. Because a function is an equation that remains the same. And every time you put in an input, you put a number into that equation, is going to produce a different output or answer. So for example, if you have the equation C equals pi times D, where D represents diameter, what that tells me is, in order for me to understand what the circumference is of an object, I have to know the diameter and I have to multiply it by 3.141, correct?
Yes, sir.
Everyone follow that. Now, it's important that we understand this concept, because if I use diameter as 7,926 and I multiply that by 3.141, I'm going to get 24,896. So how can you calculate the circumference of the Earth? If you know the diameter, then you know the circumference, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you know pi too.
Well, if you know pi too, 3.141, definitely. Okay. Now, I can take that same equation. So the equation doesn't change. If I take that same equation and I multiply it by 3,000, I get 9,423. Why is that number significant? Anyone?
9,423.
Mm-hmm. What's 9,423 miles? That would be the
And
circumference.
diameter.
That's the
That's the total
circumference of Mercury.
Mercury.
Because in our problem book, it gives us the diameter of Mercury, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And if it gives us the diameter of Mercury, then we can calculate the circumference, right?
Right.
Did we change the function or did we use the same equation?
We use the same equation.
Use the same equation. Okay, and the last one is this, because there's a lesson in this.
Mm-hmm.
If I take the same equation and I input 7,000 as the diameter, I get 21,987 miles. What is that? If I'm not mistaken, that is the diameter of Venus. So what's the point? What's the point behind this? The equation doesn't change, right? The equation remains constant, yes?
Yes, sir.
But when you put different information into the equation, it produces different outcomes, and all those outcomes are true, right?
Yes, sir.
So when people say that the minister changed the teaching, it's not possible. What the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad provided was formula. The formulas don't change. And he gave us these formula in the language or the words given to us in Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived, Message to the Black Man. But what the minister did, he says that he went into and broke down the complex truths that even a fool will find it hard to make a mistake, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what the minister did was he mastered the formulae and was able to put in different inputs to produce different outputs. So to the untrained mind, they see the minister as changing the teaching, but don't realize that the minister has been able to apply the teachings with respect to time. He applied the teachings based on past, present, and he's able to teach us about the future, correct?
Yes, sir.
In mathematics, that's called extracting a derivative. It's also called differentiation. And the Arabic word for differentiation is what? Furqan. So the name Furqan in mathematics is indicating an individual that's able to understand the relationship between past, present, and future and take equations, spiritual truths, and apply them with respect to time. Does everyone follow that concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sis Angela, you did have your hand up.
Oh no, you already gave it, Mass. That's all I was
Okay.
offering.
Okay. So we're looking, what I'm about to share with you, by Allah's grace, is based on this mathematics. Now, to do this for the mathematician, so now these three concepts, I'm putting these three concepts here. So in the event that individuals that study these specific mathematical levels they'll be able to see what I'm speaking about, but I'm going to try to also explain this briefly so that we all understand it. These three levels, or these could be three locks, like the Panama Canal, three. This is called the injective property, surjective property, and what's called bijective property. Okay. And all that means is, remember we had these three concepts on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could write these three down on a piece of paper, and if you can draw lines from one set to the other, and these words are equivalent, then they will satisfy these three different properties. But I'm not going to go in depth into these properties. These are just the terms that are used in that level of mathematics called discrete mathematics. But I am going to show us how this works. Is everyone good up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So information is comparable. One form of proof is called an equivalence relation. I'm going to explain this one because this is the key one that we're going to use. An equivalence relation. So the basic structure, and then again, this also involves three steps. So here we have the three steps of the Panama Canal again. Understanding the concept in three levels. So you have what's called the reflexive property. Reflexive property means an object has to be related to itself. Now that might sound strange, but so let's look at this with regards to our teachings. With regards to our teachings, the reflexive property would represent an individual who doesn't just know the teaching, but also understands the teaching. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So reflexive, when you clear the word reflexive, you're coming to the word reflect, which means when something is reflected from something else, that means there's a reflection or an image. Reflect also means to think about, to ponder, or to consider, correct?
Yep.
So a lot of us recite the teachings, but we have not pondered, reflected, or considered the teachings. A lot of us will listen to the minister, but we're not listening to the minister, in other words. There's a verse in the Holy Qur'an that says, it talks about those that will truly hear will be those that actually listen. So hearing and listening are two different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had this happen? Someone's talking to you, you hear what they're saying, and then they say, so what do you think about that? Or what's your opinion? and you were hearing them, but you weren't really listening because you were thinking about what you had to do down the road. So they were talking, but your mind wasn't there. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the reflexive property means object is related to itself. How that translates to our teaching is we don't just know the teaching, but we have different levels of understanding it. We just haven't memorized lesson number one, but we're able to put lesson number one in the fine language that we know. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The second thing you have to do is an object or element is related to another object or element. That's called the property of symmetry.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Lukman.
Yes, sir.
Could you go back? I missed some at my phone. I don't know what it did. When you said something about reflection,
Okay.
reflection, what was the meaning of reflection? I was thinking to myself, uh, get something in time, because to reflect means to go over something in time.
Yes, that's true too.
But
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. To go over, there's various places in the Holy Quran where Allah says He gives you examples in nature. And He says, and there's lessons in this for those who reflect, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So to go over is the same thing as to consider, to think about, to ponder. Now, in
Yes, sir.
the symmetric property is what we just did. We took the three terms that are in ayat number 47 and 30,
Mhm.
and we said that these words have symmetry with these three words in Dianetic Technology, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in the symmetric property, I mean, I can go more in depth in that, but time won't permit just yet. In other words, we're saying if A equals B, then B has to equal A. Does everyone follow that logic?
Absolutely.
Okay. If A equals B, then B has to equal A.
Yes, sir.
Now, the transitive property states if object A is related to object B, object B is related to object C,
Yes, see.
then object A has to be related to object C, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, here's an example. Sister Angela, are you home right now?
I am.
What room are you sitting in?
The living room.
Okay. Transitive property states if Sister Angela is in the living room and the living room is in the house, then Sister Angela has to be in the house.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
And how we use this with regards to our topic today is if Dianetic Tech, if these three terms we can find in ayat number 4730 are comparable to the tech. So you have the ayats. We found a relation with the ayat in the Arabic, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
in the Arabic has a relationship with the terms used in Dianetics. Then there's a possibility, there's other terms of Dianetics that are found in Arabic. Does everyone follow that logic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. This will all make sense. I'm trying to lay the base. And I just gave you an example there. Okay. So application of proof techniques. So now this type of proof can be found within the words of the Most High Elijah Muhammad, which proves, at least to me, that there is a mathematical structure that supports our teachings. And I'll give you the example. Most High Elijah Muhammad said, if you desire to preach or teach that a certain religion is true or right, you should know all religions in the scriptures, right? Now, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just giggling a little bit.
Oh, okay. Now let's look at this. But let's look at this through the language of the proofs. Okay. So if we look at this from the reflexive property, first we have to understand the certain religion is our own Islam, right? Which means we have to know our scripture, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We have to know about our religion. But what he's saying here is if you desire to preach or teach that a certain religion is true, okay? So in other words, if we want to teach that our Islam is true or right, what is he saying? He's saying that you should know all religions and their scriptures. So now that means now if you apply the symmetric property, so if we want to understand Buddhism, if we want to prove that Islam is true or right, then we should also study Buddhism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he says you should know. He says, did he say some religions? Did he say a
Oh,
few religions?
mm-hmm.
He said
Oh,
all religions and their scriptures. In other words, we will gain more truth about Islam if we actually read about Buddhism and the scriptures involved in Buddhism. Because then we will see the certain common themes in Buddhism that are also in Islam, would we not?
yes, sir.
So did we not just learn more about our own Islam by studying Buddhism? The Honorable
Oh,
Minister Louis Farrakhan said that when you deal with the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, he says this in the lecture called the Science of the Holy Qur'an. During the question and answer period, he says the Gita and the Upanishad represent the wisdom of the original man that came before the Holy Quran and Bible. Would we not want to read the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita?
yes.
And guess what? The Upanishads and the Gita are part of the root of Scientology. Now let's look at this. If the Upanishads and the Gita are the older wisdom of the original man that predate the Holy Quran and Bible, and if L. Ron Hubbard, the root of L. Ron Hubbard's teaching, as he said, comes from the Asiatics and are derived from the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, then would that not mean that at the root of Scientology is the wisdom of the original man?
Oh, absolutely.
So when the minister said he found something that he says that belongs to us, that's true. It does belong to us because it's derived from the original teachings of the original man that came before the Holy Quran and Bible. So when L. Ron Hubbard gives thanks to 50,000 years of individuals, who is he talking about? He's talking about the Asiatics, correct?
So,
So then that leads us to another thing. Now, if we look at our three teachers, Master Fard Muhammad, the Most High Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, is it possible that as part of the schooling of Master Fard Muhammad as he was growing up and Alfonso was taking him to different locations with these different books, is it possible, I don't know for sure, is it possible that Master Fard Muhammad studied all the religions?
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely possible.
Is it possible that the Honorable Minister of the Most High Elijah Muhammad in some way, shape, form, or fashion studied the other religions in their scriptures?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, studied the other religions in their scriptures? Have you ever heard the minister teach about the Bible?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever heard him talk about other religions in the scriptures?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So if you look at this quote from page 90 of Message to the Black Man, this quote, two sentences, has ARC or is in alignment with the mathematical principles that are found in a proof technique. And that shows in my mind. I mean, I already knew this, but to know a thing is one thing. I teach, when I have to teach the train the lieutenants and the guys to drive the engines. Um, knowing something is good, but when you know why, that means you understand. So if someone were to come and question us on our teachings, y'all talk about Islam is mathematics, mathematics is Islam. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, what mathematics are you talking about? A lot of us can't go beyond that because we haven't studied mathematics. We can quote it. But as we go deeper into the mathematics, we will come face to face with the fact that the root that undergirds, in my opinion, based on my understanding, my kindergarten understanding, there's mathematical formulae that undergird what Minister Farrakhan is teaching us. And when you can see the mathematics of it, you can't be defeated in any argument. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what time is it? Okay, we got a little bit of time. Now, I have the word Ikra here for a reason. So reflexive property is we have to know our own teachings. How many of us read our own teachings?
Yes, sir.
How many of us know what the word read is in Arabic?
Ikra.
How many of us actually know what that word means in Arabic? Because it doesn't mean just read.
Right.
The word Ikra in Arabic means to study, to investigate, to look at closely, or to read carefully. Kind of like the way you have to read when you're on student hat. You have to read certain things and then they put you on those cans, right?
Yes, sir.
Meaning you have to clear the words. Has anyone ever experienced that?
No.
Has anyone gone through student hat yet? Anyone gone through student hat yet? Yes, no? Okay. I'll just share this brief snippet of information. And it's crazy how this thing works because it actually happened to me. You have to listen and then read a certain lecture. When you come to a word you don't understand, you have to clear that word, right? We're all familiar with word clearing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you complete that lecture and you've done your word clearing, you have to go up on the cans and they'll ask you, did you skip a word on this? They'll go page by page. They'll point to the page. They'll say, put your intention on the page. Do you understand everything on this page? Did you skip any words on this page? They ask you a series of questions. If the needle floats, they go to the next page. They do that until you complete that lecture. They will catch if you missed a word on that page. I know it because it happened to me. That type of reading is Ikra. So read in Ikra. So when Allah says Ikra, read in the name of your Lord who teaches man by the pen what man knew not, right?
Yes, sir.
That doesn't mean just read it. Don't just read it means read with intention and focus. Don't read while we're listening to TV. Don't read while we're talking to other people. Don't read while we're on our cell phone playing Candy Crush. It means read with focus, intention, and purpose. Does everyone follow that?
Absolutely.
Praise be to Allah. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Eric.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well by Allah's grace.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
And we have the world famous traveler from Mecca, Sister Sharon Forex. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sharon.
Allahu Akbar.
Alaikum salam. Happy Savior's Day, everyone.
Savior's Day.
Oh, Sister
Happy
Sharon,
Savior's Day.
would you like to announce
Happy
what
Savior's
just
Day.
occurred in your life, or would you rather not?
Would I like to announce who?
What event just took place in your life?
What event just took place in my life? I got married. Praise be to Allah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Praise be to Allah.
You did not want us to know, huh?
No, it's not that.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Sister Sharon.
No worries. Allah is our God. We
Good.
all on the spot.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right.
Oh, shit.
We're going to get to the pinnacle of our topic for today, and I think all of us will be pleasantly pleased. Okay, let's get back. Okay. Okay. Move that out the way. Move this out the way. Okay. So now, symmetric property.
Yeah.
We study our religion, but we also study other religions. Because if we were to sit down with a Buddhist, how can we teach them about our teaching if we don't know nothing about their teaching? How do we draw a parallel and show them? Does that make sense?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll give you a quick example. I'll give you a quick example. In wait a minute, let me do this. Quick example. So here's this mathematical property applied to religion.
That mess from the dust.
In our Islam, the Holy Qur'an speaks about devil, and it speaks about Iblis, right?
Sorry.
Okay. So the devil of the Holy Qur'an, could we say, is synonymous with the reactive mind of Dianetics? Yes or no? Come on, y'all gotta work with me. I can't. Don't nobody like being on screen anymore.
Come on, people. Come on, people. I know you know.
Does everyone understand that? The devil of the Holy Qur'an is equivalent to the reactive mind of Dianetics.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, we talked about that in 2011.
So, yes, sir, that's right. So does that also mean that the reactive mind of Dianetics is equivalent to the devil of the Holy Qur'an?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we just satisfied what's called the symmetric property.
Okay.
Now, here's the transitive property. If the devil of the Holy Qur'an is equivalent to the reactive mind of Dianetics, and if the reactive mind of Dianetics is equivalent to Mara, which is found in Buddhism. Now, Mara represents the same thing that the reactive mind, but this is coming from the teachings of the Buddha.
How do you spell it, brother?
M-A-R-A.
Do you know that was the man's last name in Limitless?
What? Has to be a movie.
Mara, Limitless with the clear pill.
That was his last name?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Eddie Mara. Uh-huh.
I got to go back and watch it now again. Okay. So now, if you understand what Mara represents in Buddhism, now watch this. Devil in Holy Qur'an, we've already proven, equals reactive mind of Dianetics, right?
Yes, sir.
Reactive mind of Dianetics is equivalent to Mara in Buddhism. That proves that the Mara of Buddhism is equivalent to the devil that's in the Holy Qur'an. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
We just took a mathematical principle and applied it to religion to show that Islam and Buddhism have a parallelism. Islam and Buddhism have ARC. Does everyone follow that?
Could you break down the ARC?
ARC, there's affinity, there's reality, and there's communication. Okay, affinity, reality, and communication. So the word devil, shaitan, is the same as engram or reactive mind, and shaitan of Islam is the same as Mara in Buddhism. And if you go and study Mara, it'll give you more data to help you better understand the reactive mind. And then you'll also begin to understand the concept of devil. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And here's another thing as the oracle would say, that will cook your noodle. That means, would that not imply that everywhere in the Holy Qur'an you see the word devil? Possibly it could teach you different aspects of the reactive mind. Does that make sense?
Absolute sense.
But now here's the kicker.
Well, shoot.
Would it also mean that everywhere in the Holy Qur'an where you see the angel is teaching you something about the analytical mind?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not a coincidence. Guess how many ayats there are in the Holy Qur'an that have the word devil in it?
66.
88.
Oh, yeah.
Guess how many ayats in the Holy Qur'an have the word angel in it?
Angel, 19.
88.
Oh, wow. Balance.
There's balance there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something to think about. There's something to think about. Everyone good? We're good so far?
Sir.
Okay, let's get back to the PowerPoint. All right. So we can prove that our religion and the other religions, because all the religions come from one book, do they not?
Yes, sir.
Didn't Mr. Farrakhan teach us, or isn't he teaching us that Allah reveals different portions of the book at different periods in time, but all the truths come from one al-Kitab, or the mother of the book? Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
And so when you go back to the oldest religion, well, one of the oldest religions that they pinpoint is called Zoroastrianism. They consider it the one of the first monotheistic religions. But you have Zoroastrianism, but Kemetic spirituality actually predates that. But when you deal with Zoroastrianism, you deal with Jainism, you deal with Buddhism, you deal with the Baha'i, you deal with all those religions. All the truths are the same truth, but they're translated in different symbolism, in different language, at different time periods, in different cultures, right?
Yes, sir.
Because Allah says that He reveals information to individuals, to a people in their own language. So the truth that we have is a different language than the truth of what the Baha'i practice, or what's taught in the Metu Neter, or the Kemetic book of spirituality, or spiritual teachings. It's different than what was taught to the Dogons. The languages are different, but the truth is all the same, right? Y'all follow?
Yes, sir.
And what we have, based on the words that are the truth in our 13 rules of instructions, what we have is the fulfillment of everything. That means if we understand our lessons, we can understand the truths that are found in all the religions. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we prove the transitive property. Let's see. Now here we go. So now we're about to land the plane. So here's what I want to, I said all that to get to this point. We've all seen this book before, right? How many of us have this book?
Yes, sir.
Y'all are killing me. Sister Sharon. Go ahead, Sister Sharon.
I was raising my hand that I have the book.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's
I have
just
the book, brother.
okay. If I hear silence, it's like, okay, are we flowing? Are we not flowing? Okay, so we've seen this book. So this is the first page that deals with the content of the book, correct?
Sir.
Now, if you see those tabs I have on the side, those are all the places, and I have more tabs I got to put in there, where I have, by Allah's grace, found words in Diane, and plus, I mean, at this point, I have about maybe 100 to 200, so I haven't put the tabs in yet. The words in the tech that are equivalent to words in Arabic that are found in the Holy Qur'an. So that's what those tabs are. So if ever there comes a time when I have to speak on the relationship between the tech and our Islam, I have my Holy Quran, my Dianetic set up in such a way I can go pinpoint specifically to certain terms that will lead me specifically to certain ayats in the Holy Quran. Does everyone follow that? Make sense?
Sir.
Okay. And then also in this book, you've seen this page, right? This is the second part of the table of contents, dealing with chapter 1, the analytical mind and the standard memory banks. Chapter 2, the reactive mind, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here's a book. I could be wrong, but if I was a betting man to gamble, I'm going to show you a book that none of you have. Y'all ready? None of y'all have this one.
No, sir. I just got sad. No, sir.
Don't want to add.
So this is the Dianetics, entirely written in the language of Arabic. This is the Arabic Dianetics book. Okay. So if you see this up here, in Arabic, this is the letter L. Oh, wait. This is R. This says Ron. R, wow, N. This is an N. And then this is H, This is B here. This is the R, and this is D. So this up here actually says L. Ron Hubbard up here. Okay. And this is D. This is a long A. Y. So this is Dia. This is an N. This line here with the dot, this is N. This line with two dots is a T. This is the K. And then this letter here is an S. This actually says Al Dianetics or the Dianetics. Okay. So what I had thought about doing is let me look and find the actual terminology that L. Ron Hubbard, well, he wouldn't have used it, but the translators would have used it. What words in Arabic did they use to describe the analytical mind and the reactive mind? Does that make sense, family?
Mm-hmm.
What better way? What better way to build a bridge between the tech and our Islam, but build the bridge through the language of Arabic? Does anyone have any comments or any thoughts or any cognitions on that point before we move forward? Remember, your cognitions are very important. Okay. So with that being said, I took the book Dianetics and I looked at the table of contents. That's the table of contents in Arabic. You might not be able to see it, but you can understand that it's in Arabic, correct? Yes, no? Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you take this table of contents, you put it side by side. This is actually saying the same thing. Just one in English, one in Arabic. If I take the other page in Dianetics, this is the same page in the Arabic Dianetics. Everyone understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're using the mathematical principles, but we're applying them to spiritual concepts. We're showing an equivalence between the Dianetics and our Islam, because the next step is if I can take these words in Arabic, and if I can find these words in Arabic in the Holy Qur'an, well, guess what we've just accomplished? We have found all of the key terms in Dianetics. We have now found all the key terms in the Holy Qur'an. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No thoughts, no comments, no opinions, or everyone just
We're soaking it in. So
okay.
we're reflecting.
Okay, because feedback is good. Feedback is good. So now here's where we're going to land the plane, but I said all that to make it up to this point. Two key terms here. This right here says analytical mind and student and standard memory. This word right here says reactive mind. Y'all see these two right here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how this translates, the way you translate these. Now, I don't speak Arabic, but I think I've become very proficient in using an Arabic dictionary.
Praise be to Allah.
So me doing this does not mean I can carry on a conversation in Arabic. I cannot. I can barely recite Al-Fatiha and a couple of other surahs in Arabic, but that's as far as my Arabic goes. But using an Arabic dictionary, I'm thankful to Allah that I've actually gotten pretty good at that. So the analytical mind, the transliteration is al-aqala tahlili. Al-aqala tahlili. That's this right here. This is al-aqala. This is tahlili right here. The reactive mind is al-aqala fa'ala. And this is al-aqala al-fa'ala. So now we got the Dianetics. We got the Arabic, right? So analytical mind is equal to this, and this is equal to this, right?
sir.
Okay. But in order for me to do that, I would have to first study the Dianetics, right?
Yes, sir.
But then I would also have to study an Arabic dictionary. So that is your reflexive property. Symmetric property is showing that these two things are equivalent, yes? Oh, and by the way, going back to Mara, um, the word Mara in Buddhism, if you go into the Arabic word, there's an Arabic word, marad, M-A-R-A-D. So it has the M-A-R-A in it, but it's M-A-R-A-D. And marad nafsi means mental illness. So Mara in Buddhism is actually connected to the Arabic word marad, which also means sickness or illness. And marad nafsi is illness of the mind. That was just something that popped back in my head just then. So here's what al-aqala means. So this is the word that means, so we're talking about analytical mind. This is the word that represents the mind. Everyone with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this word in Arabic means the faculty of reason. It means consciousness. It means intelligence. It means one's senses. It means comprehension, understanding, rationality. Okay. The ability to judge. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are aspects of the mind based on the Arabic word for mind. There's more than one word in Arabic that describes mind. But this is just one. Al-aqala, the mind. So doesn't this represent everything about theta?
Yes, sir.
So when he says he calls Dianetics the science of the mind, isn't he talking about the science of reason, the science of consciousness, the science of intelligence, the science of the senses, the science of comprehension, the science of, doesn't that apply to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then when you look at the word tahlili, the root word is hal. Now, interesting thing about the word hala, what do you see in that word that is significant?
Allah.
Allah spelled backwards, right? Y'all see it?
Yes, sir.
It's Allah spelled backwards.
Arid.
Okay. It means to untie a knot.
Hmm.
It means to solve a problem. It means to decipher or to decode. It means to dissolve in water. It means to analyze something. It means to release. Well, wow, look at that. Where have you seen that term before? Isn't that in the text?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? You have a pre-clear, you have release, and then you have clear, right?
Yes, sir.
It means, oh, wow, look at that one. It means to clear.
Like you didn't post it.
What a coincidence. So here we see these mathematical properties where the Arabic connects directly to the Arabic. I mean, the terminology in Dianetics and Arabic actually hit exactly and precise on one another, does it not?
Oh, yes, sir.
So we've just used all three properties, reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. It means to absolve from sins. Well, isn't that what we do when we go through processing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, here's another term, to discharge. Have you seen this in Dianetic Tech?
Yes.
So now, I want us to perform a little procedure. Remember we talked about injective, surjective, and bijective?
Sir, remember.
This is what this means. Take one term and connect it to another. For example, analytical mind. Is that the same as solving a problem in our consciousness?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Isn't the same as untying a knot in our faculty of reason?
Yes, sir.
Isn't the same as analyzing something with regards to our comprehension?
Mhm.
Does it mean to decipher or decode something in our understanding?
Absolutely.
Does it mean to absolve from sins with regards to our ability to judge, mainly our own selves? So you see how we take the Arabic words for analytical mind, look at the Arabic, and all this is describing processing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
This is all describing the process and providing us with what we call the end phenomena. Because when we have the full use of our analytical mind, don't we have full consciousness, full intelligence, full senses, full comprehension, full understanding? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, on the left, all those words for al-akala, aren't those also attributes of Allah?
Yes, sir.
Intelligence would be the all-knowing, right? When you're dealing with the senses, Allah is the all-seeing, right?
Yes,
He's the all-hearing.
sir.
And Allah would be the best speaker, wouldn't it? Wouldn't he?
Yes, sir.
Now, interesting, the best speaker. In Arabic, that's al-kalim. That means the best speaker. Now, didn't we say in on the tone scale? This is for Brother Tim, Brother Timothy. On the chart, what is the column that deals with speech that we were just talking about, the tone of speech? It's column K. Is that a coincidence? It's column K, and Allah is the best speaker. And in Arabic, that's Kalim, Kaleem.
That is significant. Yes, sir.
There's no such thing as coincidence, right? So we have here the Arabic translation from the Dianetics book. So now, if we were to go to everywhere in the Holy Qur'an where the word akala is found, would that not teach us about the analytical mind?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
If we looked at every place where we saw the word hala, so then we can really connect through the language of Arabic, the mathematical language. We can marry the supreme wisdom with the supreme technology, couldn't we?
Yes, sir.
And then you can move on to science of survival. And that's a whole nother level of understanding, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is everyone flowing? Does this make sense, family? Is everyone flowing with this?
Yes, sir. But
Okay.
well, Brother Lukman, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Now you was going. You remember you was talking about the all this and all that. You said the all seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's something else that all seeing represents on the dollar bill. The pyramid with the eye. That's supposed to be the all seeing eye or something like that.
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering about that.
Yes, sir.
Would that fit in with what you what you explained?
Well, when you deal with the Masonic symbolism and the all-seeing eye,
Yeah.
our,
Yes, sir.
our lesson says, I'm trying to think where in our lesson it says, excuse me. Um, in our lesson it says Allah is the all-eye seeing.
Oh, I see it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how it's worded in our lessons. I can't remember the exact lesson. I think
Uh-huh.
it's around 36, 37, 38, somewhere around there in Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2.
Okay. Yes,
But
sir.
on the chart,
Mhm.
it is column I, and it says, and I have on my chart because what I did was I went across the chart, and the highest point, the highest button on the chart,
Mhm.
Brother Timothy, you might be able to bear witness to this. Those highest abilities on the chart represent, in our language, the 99 attributes of Allah. So when you look at I, column I for Visio, it says full Visio recall in actual size, 3 dimension, and color with no occlusions. Well, wouldn't that be how Allah would perceive the universe? Full recall to see everything in full color. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So
It
if
does.
you have that chart, I know Brother Timothy, you have it because you're in science survival. If you look at the upper part of that chart and look at the uppermost description of that button, you will come face to face with the actual attributes of Allah. So that chart and the 99 attributes, which is called Al-Azma al-Husna in Arabic,
Mm.
it shows that Islam and this chart is equivalent. It shows that it's equivalent, but what this chart is giving us is a gradient scale of how to progress in order to manifest that attribute. Does that make sense, Brother Timothy?
Yes, sir. It does.
Okay. So if you under if we understand that if we take an attribute like the patient, Allah is al-sabur, he's the patient. What is the exact opposite of patient?
Impatient.
Impatient. Look at the prefix on the word patient, and what is the prefix on that word?
Imp.
And what is an imp?
Devil.
An imp is a small, mischievous devil. So really, impatience is like an aberrated mind. The patient is there, but the imp is standing in the way. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So to progress up the chart of Allah's attributes, we have to go through processing of removing the imp so that the patience can manifest, right?
That's right.
So that's why I believe, and I'm using patience as an example, when Allah taught Adam all the names, I don't believe he just gave him a list of attributes and told him to memorize it. The way in my kindergarten understanding is if Allah wants us to be patient, he puts us around a lot of people that irritate us. He puts us in the environment with people that get under our skin and aggravate us and really piss us off. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's
Because then by being in that environment, we have to learn how to be patient, correct?
right. Absolutely. That's right.
And if anyone has gone through SRD or gone through the TRs, there's something called bull baiting. Really, when you look at the processes that take place, and I'm only speaking specific of SRD right now because that's what I'm involved with, that is the kindergarten process of how to become God because you're gaining control over yourself and how you
Mhm.
respond to other people, and then to be able to control people, not control people like do what I like abracadabra, but
Mhm.
when certain people act a certain way, I'll say it in the language of Star Wars. You can almost it's almost like a Jedi that they call a Jedi mind trick, but you can speak to people in such a way to remove the emotion from them and turn
Right.
and take that conversation and make that conversation become peaceful. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Everyone follow that logic?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
SRD is the kindergarten school of becoming God because really SRD you're learning how to come into present time and learn how to gain control of yourself in the presence of other people that are acting ignorant, in other words. Okay. All right. Let's look at the reactive mind and then the plane will come to a landing. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. So everyone follows the logic here. We just took the Arabic from the Dianetics book, broke it down, and we showed and married this to our teachings, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Like when I saw untie a knot, the first thing I thought of is in the Holy Quran where Moses says, there's a knot in my tongue, right?
Loosen
Okay.
it.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the analytical mind and untying the knot is connected. Okay. Now, so we got all these words for mind. Well, let's look at reactive. So the word reactive comes from the word fa'ala. So fa'ala is the root word, which is equivalent to reactive. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everywhere in the Holy Quran, you find this word fa'ala, it's a possibility that ayat will give you a description of the reactive mind. But the word fa'ala means, and we do it step by step, to become influenced. That's the first one. Does that make sense?
To become what? Can you say again?
Influenced.
Influence.
Influenced. So
Influence. Oh, okay, right.
so if our faculty of reason is influenced by someone or something else, then we're operating on our reactive mind. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we walk into an environment and that environment become cause and we are effect, then our faculty of reason isn't under our control. It's being influenced by someone or something else. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we go to the next definition, I could take this definition right here and apply it to each one of these. When we're aberrated, isn't our consciousness being influenced by someone or something else?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
called the valence, right?
Yeah. Right. Yes, that's somebody else. Valent. Yeah.
Okay. Our intelligence can be influenced by someone or something else, correct?
Yeah. Right. Yes, sir.
Now, where do we find that in our lessons? Why does the devil keep our people illiterate?
Come on.
So that he can use them for a tool and also a slave. He keeps them blind to themselves so he can master. Illiterate means ignorant, right? So when we're illiterate and ignorant, that means illiterate means the inability to read, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we know read doesn't mean just read a book. Read means to examine, to study closely. So the devil keeps us from looking at things closely and keeps us from studying, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
But for the sake of the text, this devil is the one that's on the inside. Could we say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could we say that our senses are influenced by someone or something else?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where does that happen? That's called slack talk and backbiting.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Because now we have an opinion on someone based on what someone else said about them,
Well,
and
say
that
about
might
it.
not be correct at all. Okay. Can we say our comprehension of information is influenced by someone or something else? Yes.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, we have a fear of mathematics, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Our comprehension and our understanding of mathematics is influenced by someone or something else that's within us, that's based on something that's on our time track, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our ability to judge and our rationality is now influenced by someone or something else. That's called social media.
Right.
So when we go through the Dianetic Tech, we go through processing, aren't we removing these elements that are influencing all these characteristics over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if we can remove the influencer that's influencing, then we gain control of our faculty of reason, our consciousness, our intelligence, our senses, our comprehension, our understanding, so on and so forth. So you see that processing removes the influence, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So al-aqala fa'ala means the reactive mind. This is what the reactive mind does. Fa'ala also means to be affected. All of us are affected, meaning effect when the difference between effect and affect. Effect deals with like the end of a consequence, a cause and effect. Affect involves emotions. Aren't we don't we have different various levels of emotion
Emotion.
on
Yes.
all those words that are given to us on the left? Our reason, our consciousness, our intelligence. Unless you're clear, then everyone here still has a reactive mind, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this making sense, family?
Yes, sir.
You're on it.
The word fa'ala means to be under the influence of someone else. Well, there you go. What's dramatization? In dramatization, I'll share this quote with you. And this actually is a thought, because I try to write stuff down as soon as I wake up in the morning. This is a thought that was on my mind when I first woke up today. The thought was this: being stuck in someone else's universe. When we are stuck in mental illness, we are a prisoner in someone else's universe where their worst self is God acting through us.
That's right.
Because L. Ron Hubbard talks about three different universes in one of the, I think it was on the Philadelphia Doctor course. And basically, when someone is aberrated, that means you're stuck in someone else's universe. So if you're stuck in someone else's universe, then you have to submit to the God of that universe. And the God of that universe and us is what causes the aberration. Okay. So reactive mind means we have someone else that's taking up space in our mind. How do you say that in our teachings? Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Lesson number 1 lays the base of our work today and gives a student a clear knowledge of himself and his heavenly home, and who is the enemy to him and his nation, and why he had to be put out. Yes, that's the same thing. We have allowed the devil to settle on the best part.
That part. Right. That's
right. We just said devil is reactive mind, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what best part is in Arabic? The word best part in Arabic is kalaba, Qalaba. And kalaba means the mind, but it also means the best part. So lesson number 1 says, why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? It's the same as saying, why isn't the devil settled on our mind? But when the devil is settled on our mind, that means we are under the influence of someone else. In the Dianetic terminology, it's called being out valence or in the valence of someone else. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It means to be upset, agitated, or excited. Well, we all know about upsets, right?
Yes.
We've all been upset. Some of us are still upset. We're agitated. We're excited. Another word for that is anxiety. I seek thy refuge from anxiety and what?
Grief.
And grief.
So anxiety and grief fall under the Arabic word fa'ala. So when we're upset and we're grieving, we are in our reactive mind. It means to invent. Well, isn't that what the reactive mind does? It makes up stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The word fa'ala means to falsify. Now we're in the area of the SPPTS, correct? For those that don't know, that's the suppressive personality and the potential trouble source. But the suppressive personality is also called the antisocial personality, correct?
Go ahead.
And if you abbreviate antisocial personality, what word do you have? You have ASP, right? Asp? What is an asp?
Deadly snake.
It's a snake. It's another word for cobra.
Allahu Akbar.
So a suppressive person is a snake. When we're processing someone, aren't we? If we really, Sister Angela, you, Brother Eric, and Brother Timothy, y'all, I know y'all are gonna grab this one. But when you're processing someone, isn't the person on the time track that's at the root of the pain? Would you not call them a snake of a grafted type?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's why in processing, it says that we have to bring and present 4 devils at one time, because we all bring our devils, but we don't always present them, right?
Right.
Because those are called overts and they're called withholds.
Go ahead.
We withhold those, but in processing, you don't get a chance to withhold them. That auditor finds them. When you're on the cans, the devils are you bring your devils to the cans, and the cans will present them.
Right.
Brother Arthur.
Yes. I want to ask you, what is a I'm not trying to. I want to try to keep in the realm of what you're talking about. But what is a reactor? Like like in a reactor in in, uh, it's what is a reactor? What is it used for? I think it's in like a reactor is a what? I mean, it's something that's used to in some kind of a reactor in atomic structure or
Okay.
whatever. Like that.
Okay. Okay, so the way a reactor works, I can skim this on the surface. I can't go in depth, but I know a little bit about it. But the way a reactor works is it's generating energy based on I believe it's nuclear fission.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is uh, you have these rods that are placed in the nuclear reactor, and water is used because it produces the energy that heats the water up. And if I'm not mistaken, the rods absorb some of the particles. So you're producing energy based on, I believe it's nuclear fission, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's nuclear fission. The sun works on
Okay.
nuclear fusion, but what a reactor is doing is it's really producing energy based on atomic process called nuclear fission, where they're
Uh-huh.
taking the atomic particles, and as they separate them, they
Uh-huh.
release a great amount of energy.
Okay.
But in releasing that great amount of energy, they also release subatomic particles, and those subatomic particles are absorbed. So when you have like Chernobyl, something happened where it went out of control, and those
Mhm.
particles were released. And that
Okay.
when that radiation comes in contact with the human body, it
Mhm.
just utterly destroys it. But that's what a nuclear reactor is on a very
Oh,
basic level.
okay. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Allah.
Okay.
All right. Yes, sir.
Let's see. So to invent, to falsify, and to fabricate. Well, that's the reactive mind right there, right?
Yes.
Could we not say that those are like engrammic commands?
It's fast. Can't get it right.
Bouncers, holders, misdirectors, groupers,
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
deniers. Then you have
And
one,
now you
one called a
right,
lie factory. I've
right.
seen that one as well.
Mhm.
Does that all make sense, family?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um,
Yes, sir.
Once I finish this, I just want to hold for a split second. I want to rewind just Brother Eric, you didn't see the two different Dianetics books we were using. Did you see that part?
No, because
Okay.
I was
Okay.
driving.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind for just a minute because I want to show you how we got to that. The believers, do y'all mind if we do this?
No, sir.
Okay,
No.
let me show you this real quick, Brother Eric. Let me do my stop share. I'll show this real quick so you can get the mass on it. Let's see. Okay, so Brother Eric, what we did was,
In all, I'm glad you went through all of this because this is a confirmation of all the teaching that we receive from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
yes, sir.
because the whole thing is about the science of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about the notion of God and Satan or devil, we are looking at those terms in the way of this world.
Mm-hmm.
We still think we're talking about a spirit, but that same spirit that we're referring to is also of us. That's why the minister, when in study guide number 18, I believe, rise above emotion into the thinking of God.
Mm-hmm.
He bring us right there. And you mentioned a few words. I was driving. I did not want to butt in,
Mm-hmm.
but you are absolutely correct because when we entered the word we call emotion, it evolved in something we call sentiment in us. And those sentiment, when you take the definition of it, I had to look it up to make sure that I was not wrong. It's an attitude towards something. It's your regard towards something, your opinion. And it says a mental feeling or emotion. That's what sentiment gives you. But at the same time, this was the negative side of it. But if you go in the positive side of it, it says refined or tender emotion manifestation of the higher or more refined feeling. And this is where Allah wants to bring us, because if we deal with our negative side, which is the reactive mind, as you mentioned, and the reactive mind really is all the difficulties that we have to go through our lives, things that people say to us, things that people do to us, things that was taken away from us. All of these bring us in a position that we cannot move. And since those pain remain in our mind, so we cannot see the present time. So we are always living in the past. And that's what the thing that we call, when we go to get audited, we are dealing with the past more before we can really come to the present time. And when you can deal with the present time, now you say you're clear. And at the point of clear, now this is the time we can ascend to what we said, the notion of God, to go to serenity, which is the highest point, 40.0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I would say.
Thank you, Brother Eric. I wanted you, I'm gonna make this available because I think it will benefit us, especially those of us who are constantly, doing the auditing. I'm gonna do this. This is only gonna take maybe 60 seconds, but I just want to show you how we got to that point where you have access to the whole thing. Let's see. So, Brother Eric, what we did was this. This is the way that I was blessed by Allah to see it. What I did was we started with this book, and I showed the believers this first page. And you're familiar with that, right, Brother Eric? Table of contents?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And what I did was those little tabs in my copy of Dianetics, every time I find an Arabic word that connects with a term in Dianetics, I put a tab in the book. That way I can always reference it now. This is the other part in the book where it says the analytical mind and the reactive mind. That's familiar to you, right, Brother Eric?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now here's a book in the Dianetics, Brother Eric, you don't have. You ready?
Go ahead.
You don't have that version, do you?
No, sir.
This whole book of Dianetics is just in the Arabic language. That's the Arabic translation. This is L, this is Ron, this is Hubbard, and this is Al, A-L, and this is Dianetics. Okay. So what I did was, I started this a while ago, but it came back to my mind to do this again. I took the one, and I looked at the table of contents in Arabic. So this table of contents in Dianetics Book 1 is the same as this one in the Arabic translation. Then I took this table of contents in Book 1, and I got this translation here. So then I did specifically with this is the analytical mind. This says analytical mind in Arabic. This is the reactive mind in Arabic. Then we translated those terms, and this is the terminology in the Dianetics book of what the reactive mind is and analytical mind is. And then all we did was we cleared these words. Alaka, Tahlil, and Fa'ala. We did the word clearing to show how those words in the actual Dianetics book translation, when we actually look at the actual Arabic, it lines up. It is so beautiful because the Arabic language actually takes us a little bit deeper into what the analytical mind is and what the reactive mind is. And now that we have the Arabic words, everywhere in the Holy Quran, we can find those words. It'll help us to gain some insight as to the reactive mind and analytical mind as it's written in the Holy Quran. So that's what we did on that one.
Excellent. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let me get to the last part of this. So just to do a quick summary of that. So for the mind in the Arabic, this is what it means. So this is the Arabic word, al-aqala. And as you see, Brother Eric, all this describes different aspects of the Thetan, doesn't it not? You with me, Brother Eric?
Yes, I was on mute.
Okay, so this is, you see, this word in Arabic actually means all of these words, which describes different aspects of the analytical mind, right? Or the Thetan, correct?
Ah, beautiful. Yes, sir.
Okay. But now the word reactive in Arabic gives us all these words. So reactive mind means a mind that's influenced by others, by someone else, by upsets, agitation.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at the transitive property. So now, if we can identify and understand the concepts of Dianetics, and we translate them into the language of Arabic, and if we can identify the Arabic terms as they are presented in the Holy Quran, then we would be able to locate the text of Dianetics in the Holy Quran and gain a more comprehensive understanding of the majesty of the Holy Quran and the technology of Dianetics. Does that make sense, family?
Indeed. Can you come back to the previous slide?
Let's see. Here?
This one. My observation is that the bottom on the left side, which is the Dianetics, you see, you start with the ability to judge. That's where we would start.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps to rationalize things. And from there, it gives us understanding. But understanding and comprehension are almost the same word, but comprehension is a little bit higher than the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are using your sense. That means we always ask people, does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when you can use your sense, now it really display your intelligence. And your intelligence is embedded in your consciousness, or your consciousness is in your intelligence. That brings you to the faculty of reason.
So you're looking at that like a gradient.
That's a gradient to it. Yes, that's how it is.
That's good. I didn't see that one. Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Eric. That just
I thank you.
That's why cognitions are good, brother. I didn't catch that, but that makes perfect sense.
Alhamdulillah.
So now here's where I'm gonna end it. And this is a little wordy, but this was I was trying to get this in, and I had like 2 minutes to go before the class started. So now, if we could see in our teachings, for example, we look in our teachings, wherever we locate when our teachers are teaching on specific ayats or verses. So if we hear Mr. Farrakhan speaking about a certain ayat in the Holy Quran, or the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad uses one of the ayats in Message to the Black Man, Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived, and whatnot. And if those verses that they're teaching us can be tied into, if we do the word clearing and it ties into the tech, then really on another level, when we re-listen to a lecture by Minister Farrakhan or the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad or reread something, if we read it through the lens of seeing the equivalent of what they're saying in the tech, then we will already see the harmonics of Dianetics are already in our teachings. It's just that we couldn't hear it because our ears were not synchronized to that specific frequency. But now, as we study the tech and we go back and listen to the minister, we'll realize he's been teaching us the science of the mind the whole time. We just didn't hear it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was teaching to the deaf, blind, and dumb.
Right.
Or the dead.
Perhaps if we go into Our Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, and we go in now with a new sense of vision and new hearing, we will begin to see that we've had the tech the whole time. It's just that we couldn't see it, nor could we hear it, because we couldn't identify those pitches and those frequencies of spiritual sound. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Family, does anyone have
In addition, it is say, in Christ there is no Jew, no Gentile, no free, no bond. And so you just
it's all one truth.
in a different way, yes.
It's all one truth. Questions, cognitions, thoughts before we close it out? Going once, going twice. All right, family. I pray Allah that Brother Craig.
Good teaching, soldier. Good teaching.
All praises due to Allah. There was only one spelling mistake that I saw as we were going. I'm thankful to Allah for that one because I literally threw that together in like an hour and a half. But when Allah teaches man by the pen, then you ain't got to worry about. You just got to make sure the pen's working and let him do the writing. Is that correct?
Go ahead.
All right, family. I pray Allah that we got something from this. As soon as this downloads, I'm going to post it to the YouTube channel. If you would like the PowerPoint, put a message in the chat. Just put your, next to your name, just put PowerPoint. I'll send you the PowerPoint. That way you have all the notes. But I intend, with the help of Allah, to extend this to a much broader topic in the future. So, Sister Angela, any thoughts on anything we covered?
Oh my goodness!
I know you're constantly auditing people. Excuse me.
I said it was such a full class today. What if I can say a takeaway? I'll say take two takeaways. You made me understand. I used to hear my grandmother say she's going to do something later on or tomorrow, if God, she said if it be the Lord's will. And of course, when I got into the nation, that turned into inshallah. However, you have shown me how some of us, when we procrastinate, we can throw that in there because the intent is not to really do it. And that brings us back to number 11, right? In supreme wisdom. And the one that's controlling our universe. When I tell you that was for me, you had me here. I really had to go and step out of myself and look and see the banner that was flying in my sky in the universe that I was in. So that's my takeaway, really, because sometimes we can be so adaptive to it. We need the other person. That's what we do in order. Then we help the pre-clear get to I, and the I is whomever Allah, nobody else, whomever Allah called into existence with their special combination of attributes that makes us unique. So I'm realigning my universe by Allah's grace and mercy.
Yes, ma'am. Real quick on that note, he said, I think it's a Philadelphia doctorate. There's the universe, there's your individual universe, and then there's the other person's universe.
I'm gonna check it. I have that one too.
Okay. And he says that you have to be caused in your own universe. And that what happens is, And you'll find this concept in the Holy Quran where it says, where it's asked, well, why do you follow that? They say, well, we follow that which our fathers followed, right? You familiar with that, right? We follow what our fathers followed.
You said what?
You,
I
you
like, yeah, I
okay.
like that.
That verse or that concept in the language of the tech is that those individuals are in the universe of their fathers.
Mm.
So since they're in the universe of their fathers, they follow the gods that their fathers followed. So
Right.
our aberrated, when we're aberrated, what it is here's some math for you, Sis Angela, and I know you'll understand this.
Yes, sir.
Remember the movie The Cell with
Absolutely. Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez? Remember, as long as she brought that guy into her mind, she could no, what happened was she tried to go into his mind.
Right.
She got stuck in his universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? What happened that caused her to get stuck? Do you remember?
Um,
He came up from behind her and he put that necklace around her neck.
right. She became a part of him.
That was what? A chain
Oh, yeah, a link, right?
and that became a lock.
Right.
Emotion.
So
Stay.
she was stuck in his universe now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. When we're aberrated, when we're dramatizing, we're actually stuck in someone else's universe,
Mm-hmm.
but that their universe is in us.
Right.
And I don't know if Brother Eric heard this, but this was a quote that came to my mind this morning. It was like the first thought I had when I got up this morning. It says, stuck in someone else's universe. When we're stuck in mental illness, we are a prisoner in someone else's universe with their worst self as a God acting through us.
No.
So that demo kit is Jennifer Lopez stuck in that crazy dude's mind. But remember, his crazy mind was based on what? What his father did to him when he was a child.
Mm.
Why was he eating the wrong food as an adult? Because he was taught to eat the wrong food when he was a child, right? It's all in the movie.
That's right.
It's all in the movie.
I don't know.
So whatever God is in that person's universe, whatever they believe is true, if we go and we're stuck in their universe, then whatever they believe is what we believe. Why do you follow Christianity? I was raised a Christian. That's what my parents did. So I don't want to disrespect them. So I can't come to the mosque because it'll disrespect them. Even though what they follow is incorrect, I don't want to disrespect them. So I'd rather follow that which is incorrect in order to be good with my parents who are wrong than to still love my parents and come to that which is correct. That's what happened.
Mm.
Not to say that the church is wrong, but there are certain things in the church that are taught that aren't in agreement with the Bible. But y'all understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That concept of universe is actually in other aspects. It's just that we have to understand the more we study, the more we'll see. Minister Farrakhan has been really teaching this. But on those harmonics, some of the notes you can't hear unless you train your ear to hear them, right? That's what Brother Batin taught us years ago. The fundamental, the harmonics, and the overtones. Certain notes you can't hear, they're too faint.
Right.
There's words are based on a fundamental. The most Elijah Muhammad teaching is the fundamental. The minister has broken down the harmonics and the overtones. Some of them we're hearing more as we learn. We're hearing more in the minister's words. We're like, I didn't hear that the first time. Which our ear is being trained. Our intelligence is expanding through the tech to look deeper into what the minister is giving us. And that's why he said, and I'll make this final statement. He says, Allah is a scientist who speaks in the language of formulae. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the second scientist who looked into the formulae and broke it down, correct?
Yes, sir.
Then he says his job is to break down the complex truth so that even a fool will find it hard to make a mistake. Now, he said that same statement, but he phrased it differently in the lecture he did at the farm where he took the titles. He said Allah is a scientist. He said the Most High Elijah Muhammad is the second scientist, but he referred to himself as the third scientist. Go back and watch that lecture. He referred to himself as the third scientist, which means also that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has the ability to speak in formulae, to look into the formula and break it down, and to break down the complex truths. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
If he's a third scientist, he has all the abilities of the scientists 1 and 2 because he's aligned his mind to their mind. Now, if we align our mind to his mind, then we too will speak in formulae. We could possibly look into formulae and break it down, and we too will be able to break down the complex truths because we are studying the third scientist to become the fourth scientist. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like four Jesuses, maybe, but that's another topic.
It's
All right.
interconnected.
It's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. That's why the tech is so beautiful, because now you think outside the box and begin to say what ifs on more things. So, let's see. Next meeting, God willing. Oh, and I want to make this one last point to make it perfectly clear. I heard the minister teach on that, inshallah, and how some of us use inshallah to just, he didn't word it like this, but we use inshallah to justify the fact that we really don't want to do it. So we say inshallah. So that if it doesn't get done, we say, well, I did say inshallah. We always should say inshallah, meaning our intention
Right.
is to do it. At the same time, we also understand if it be the will of Allah. But that's different from knowing that if it be the will of Allah, but our intention isn't included. We shouldn't use it.
Come on.
And that is where we will end it. We'll put a pin in it here. God willing, we will see each other again on September the 7th. And only Allah knows what the topic will be. So with that, I thank you for your time and your patience, your cognitions and your work. Keep studying. Any cognitions you have, please share them. They could be the subject for a whole Zoom meeting. Who knows? Allah will reveal to you and bring something to us that we all need to hear. So with that, I'm going to dismiss myself. Go ahead, Sister Angela.
I got a subject, and while
Okay.
this came to me, I just go ahead and tell you.
I'm right.
I like this looking at this universe and being in someone else's universe. Do you think we can do one with the universe being illness or sickness?
Yeah, the universe of illness. Okay, give me some more. So a little more specificity on that. A little more specific.
Okay, so like this. I spoke at it's called the survival of something. And the women that were there all were cancer survivors. And when they walked through their story, they all had a similar reaction to hearing those words. Is when the doctor says, "We found cancer." And this universe opens up, and a lot of us walk into, and what I mean by the universe of sickness, I'm talking about the doctors of this world and how cancer is big business, along with other things, but that one in particular. So when the words are said, it's like there's a choice to be made. Are you going to follow this doctor's regimen, which is chemo and radiation and things that we know that kill the body? Or are we going to believe what they say? Well, this is, we got to be radical. We got to jump on this right now. Or we are going to step into Allah's universe where there are ways to heal this, but it starts with our mind.
I would love to teach on that subject. And as you were talking, I saw how we could lay it out.
Mm-hmm.
It would lay out so perfect. So yes, I can see it. I can see it in front of me. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I see it. I actually see a whole Zoom meeting on that already. So look for that in the future, says Angela. But
yes,
I would also want to do that maybe something jointly where we can kind of give some data back and forth.
Yes, sir.
And perhaps have you play a larger role in actually presenting on that.
Inshallah.
But I see, because there's another book I'm reading right now, and that's the book
Yes.
that popped in my head as you were talking. And I'm like, ooh,
Okay.
that would be perfect to align with this subject matter.
Right. It might
Because,
take a few. I don't think we're gonna get to really do it in one.
no.
Yeah.
Because really, the thought that came to mind is that as you were talking about the illness, it was not necessarily the illness, it's the language of illness,
Right.
the language that's used.
Mm-hmm.
And individuals are programmed with the language through different TV shows, movies, and whatnot. We watch
Right.
movies, certain things. So now when that incident happens to us and this person says this, we go
Mm-hmm.
back in the contract to what we saw in the movie, and we
Right.
saw the result of if they didn't do it, then
Mm-hmm.
there's a scene of the casket and everyone standing around in black and
Right.
oh, woe was me. And so
Right.
that comes back into our memory. So when they say you have cancer, our mind goes to that
Oh,
and we equate that with this, and now we're thinking, damn, I'm about to die. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
so that's where my mind shot with that one, most definitely.
Yes, sir. And just for some more math, I had an MRI done a few years ago. It was for one thing, but they ended up telling me that they seen a mass. And that's where that's where it begins. And I sat in my car for an hour because I had to fight all the things you just mentioned.
Mhm.
All the TV shows, all the commercials, all the people. I had to sit there and fight and then make the phone call that I had to make to the holistic doctor in the nation, Dr. Patina.
Mhm.
And no praises due to Allah.
Mhm.
I'm fine by Allah's grace and
Praise
mercy.
be to Allah. Anytime I hear of a sister speaking of mass, tumors, or lumps,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and fibroids,
Mm-hmm.
those four key things, it brings back to my memory something I heard Sister Ava say, may Allah be pleased with it, and something I heard Dr. Jewel Pookrum say. Where they're in agreement on that with regards to those four concepts dealing with sisters, they
Mm-hmm.
both agree on getting rid of meat, well, we shouldn't be eating pork anyway, but getting away from meat, specifically chicken they mentioned. But I would also assume that that's be so those fibroid tumors, the cysts, the lumps, and I also know this for a fact because in 2002, my oldest daughter's mother called me. Um, Let me do this right here.